Last fall, before the game's release, I shared some hopes and worries that I had for Rebirth. And chief among the worries was how the game would handle Zack's role in what had now become a split timeline adventure. This is Final Fantasy VII, not a spin-off, and I express concern that Zack would be given way too much of an active role within the grand scheme of things. Thankfully, his segments are spread out and he's used sparingly. That's the good news. The bad news? Your time spent with him is the most unappealing, boring, and yet somehow also confusing and baffling couple of hours that Rebirth has to offer. Case in point, Zack's well-renowned as a very capable soldier, right? So you'd think he'd be in many combat situations. So how many thrilling combat situations do you get into with Zack? Come and get it! 2. You fight with him twice. Twice in 100 hours. He serves as the tutorial at the game's outset, fighting against the weakest enemies imaginable. That's disappointing because, come on, it's Zack! Even among Final Fantasy VII fans, there are lots of them who don't really know much about Zack, or have even played through games like Crisis Core. They want to see what he can do! But he just lays waste on these sword sponges until this bizarre cutscene appears with a reinforcement helicopter on its way, presumably to recapture Aerith. So, Zack's feeling that sense of urgency, right? He has to deal with this chopper, but he's got tons of field experience, so we can expect a professional, well-thought-out, realistic method of dispatching the threat while protecting Aerith. Oh, she's in a very precarious position here. And what's more, he loves her, wants to keep her safe. Zack was Aerith's first boyfriend, after all, has always had a bleeding heart.
That bleeding heart, it'll get you killed.
So, gaze in awe at Zack's subdued, sensible solution to this problem. Heads up! Was that really necessary? Good lord! He just yanks this cement block out of the ground like he's the Hulk. And then he uses this somehow now godlike strength to tomahawk cement through the back rotor of a helicopter, sending it hurtling down and exploding. Look at how close this was to hitting Aerith. It could have killed her instantly by crushing her or exploding her. Could have killed Zack instantly. Everyone probably should be dead. Does he not realize how close he came to crushing Aerith with a friggin' big helicopter? I guess Square just had to prove just how strong and badass Zack was. What just happened? And guess when you fight as Zack the second time? Well, I'll tell you. It's against Sephiroth. Jesus Murphy! Everything in the story is going insane. There's all this emotion and gravitas. Sephiroth! And then, oh, look. Here's the mandatory text box to teach us Zack's basic functions. Have you ever played a game of any genre where there was a combat tutorial at the final boss? Not only does this completely stall the emotion and excitement the climax has built up, it makes you feel woefully unprepared. Zack will get demolished here because you don't know what the hell is going on. Build up charges, use special abilities, shoot comets, and max level 3. Yeah, great info. Meanwhile, Sephiroth is impaling Cloud every 2 seconds. so all I'm worried about is staying alive and casting Arise spells. The game might have benefited from giving Zack at least one more combat chapter, don't you think? But no. Gotta make sure that Cloud doesn't get any more layers of dust on him sleeping comatose at Elmira's house. And you definitely have to check on Biggs, this guy that was transported from another timeline who Zack had no former attachment to whatsoever, who now is apparently important enough to create a conflict in him.
Shinra HQ, where Hojo should be, along with a cure for Cloud. To the left, Reactor 6, which will get blown up along with Biggs unless I stop him.
Really? Zack has a conscience crisis between saving this random guy that he just met a day ago and saving the love of his life and his comrade in arms? That should not be a tough decision. Zack actually falters twice here.
Cloud. Biggs. Or Aerith. How the hell am I supposed to choose?
It's so dumb. This would be like if your significant other was stuck on the side of the road in a blizzard and their cell phone just ran out of juice right after they called you and you were ready to get up and go help them. But suddenly you notice a lost dog poster on the community bulletin board. And you go through analysis paralysis, wondering which situation should you put your energy into? Does that make any sense? And what's with this plan of his?
Need to talk to someone about Cloud.
And who is this someone? A doctor?
Well, He's
going to see Hojo? The guy who imprisoned him? Injected him and Cloud with Genova's cells? That's his plan? To cure Cloud? Yeah, let's get Hojo! Even if he means by taking him prisoner and forcing Hojo to cooperate, that's the head scientist of Shinra. He's protected by multiple levels of the most elite security Shinra has at their disposal. And time is of the essence. And I'm proven right almost immediately, as he spouts some Japanese RPG cliche nonsense and then bails out, running away from a basic Shinra security patrol. See you never! Zack's tasks. They definitely went all out with them, hey? I mean, you can stare at Cloud and stare at him more. You want more to do? Well, have you ever wanted to walk as Zack downstairs? Well, you, my lucky gamer, you are in luck. Zack gets to take his left foot, followed by his right foot, again and again, as he walks down the stairs to join Elmira and Marlene in conversation. You're controlling this. It's not automated. Hell, you can even go upstairs and sightsee. You experience it all! But hey, maybe you're looking for more. All right, yeah, well, fair enough. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wanted to give Cloud a sponge bath?
Here. Cloud's all yours.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we're gonna do this. Oh. That's what Zack's prepped and ready to do. He's got the basin and the washcloth. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about, buddy. You gotta keep that comatose soldier looking spiffy. Priorities, man. It doesn't stop there. You get to ask people to see if they know who Biggs is. It's such an engaging quest. You put more miles on as Zack in this section than any of his other chapters. It's pretty much like an open world.
Start by robbing folks and stocking up on kill.
According to experts, for sure.
No, okay, not quite open world, I suppose, but I mean, you have to go and talk to several people, each of whom have different responses, even though they are all unhelpful. See how exhilarating it is to be Zack?
I'm sorry, but I don't know who that is.
You seen anyone who looks like this?
Can't say I have.
The sarcasm is getting old, I know. But seriously, it's ridiculous just how all over the place Zack's events are. Even his character model seems woefully inconsistent. Look at the difference in arm buffness in the main menu compared to the in-game model. He looks friggin' skinny in the status screen, and then he has these big pipes here. Compare them side by side, and it's not even close. Which guy would you rather go against in a fight? It's cool that he has some different animations, I'll admit, like his squats that echo what Cloud does, but man, he doesn't even have any equipment or materia options, so you know, each time that you're Zack, that he's just going to be an errand boy or listening to plot details. Plot details that most gamers wish probably weren't even in this game. It's not just Zack that is poorly utilized. Vincent and Sid aren't given nearly as much respect or influence as they should have been, given both of their roles in the greater story, as well as the fan love for each. Sid basically exists as a glorified fast travel, flying you to each region of the map, with only a couple short bantering sequences between him and the party. Sure, there's this whole reveal that he knew Aerith's mother back when he was just getting started, but that's about it. They don't even mention the rocket ship plot in here, or his hometown. I'm assuming that's being saved for the last entry when the huge materia hunt gets going. Similar to how Yuffie's Wutai homeland will likely become a huge, expanded world, given all the war political turmoil that's constantly interfering with the plot we want to experience throughout the whole game.
Who exactly is this Sephiroth? The Invisible Man?
Vincent, oh, he's even worse. He doesn't do anything. The fundamentals are there. The character model, voice actor, and demeanor all seem on point. But that makes it even more irritating to see him just stand there most times. He has this one line at the Gold Saucer, which implies his prior Turk connections allow him to track their helicopter signal to find the Temple of the Ancients.
He told the Turks, whose chopper I should be able to track.
Really?
I know which radio frequencies they use. The moment they get on comms, I'll find them.
So he's simply a plot deus ex machina. This is soon followed by him again, standing at the entrance.
I got nothing. Expectations often lead to disappointment.
Apt words. That's Vincent in a nutshell, isn't it? Finally, when everything is going insane and the temple starts crumbling to pieces, he just teleports to the party, saying,
Come. I have secured us an exit.
For real? That's what we brought Vincent along for? He just stood there for most of the time and didn't join the party through most of it, spent the majority of it creeping on the Turks, but now he knows the lay of the land enough to secure an escape route? And actually, scratch that. Whoop-de-doo, he just runs out the same way that we came. Yeah, I definitely couldn't have figured that out on my own. Thank God for Vincent. In Remake, Red wasn't playable either, but he at least comes into play with some puzzle solving, and he does become a guest party member who assists you and does damage to enemies. They could have at least went that far with Vincent. You see him in action almost right away. He transforms into his Galleon Beast limit form, for frick's sake. But nope, hope you enjoyed that, because oh, that was just too exhausting and it's too much effort to do again. I guess. Sid's role is cemented as transportation, as we said, so I guess it makes sense to save him for the last game, but it's still irritating. It's crazy how much they're putting off for the final Final Fantasy VII entry. The other Avalanche members, whose fates were left so ambiguous but so optimistic at the end of Remake, all seem unable to escape the finality that their original destiny manifested in the OG game. Jessie actually never survived at all, in any shape or form, hence her emotional virtual reality ballet number in the event square at the Gold Saucer.
I've never seen her look more beautiful.
Yeah. She's a real star.
Wedge's cut to black moment in Remake?
Sorry, Cloud.
That was a teaser that leads to absolutely nowhere. He actually did just fall out of the glass and die unceremoniously in a heap outside of the building. Did this anger anyone else? Seems like a pretty anticlimactic way to end his life.
Just tell me that I made a difference.
All he did was extend it for, what, a day? And Biggs, well, in the alternate timeline, which you're forced to spend most of Zack's time in, and where he tries so hard to figure out that he's been displaced.
So how come I was the one who got saved?
Because someone needs you. You and your can-do attitude.
He just gets shot. By a random trooper. The end. Game over.
No. No.
Here I thought I might have been saved for a reason. Some higher purpose.
Nope. Sorry, Biggs. Square Enix figured it'd be best not to only wreck what happened in the original game, but then circle back and kill you again anyway. Wow. Why give anyone such a shocking new chance of life, only to do this? In fairness, I suppose that makes events like this livestream moment extra emotional, and perhaps there's an added layer of sadness blanketed onto the plot at large through these reveals. Even though defeating Whispers created so many alternate worlds, it sure feels like each character has a fate that becomes impossible to outrun. For all the emphasis Square put on this being an unknown journey, the plot progression of each character arc, as well as the end results for most of the returning characters, sure don't supply any satisfying resolution. Despite some alternate paths, the periphery characters end up dying anyway, and mostly in the same fashion. Sid and Vincent just seem shoehorned in because Square knew fans would get mad if they weren't included somehow. And Zack himself? Well, he's the only one who does get some ambiguity thrown into his arc. But he wasn't supposed to have survived in the first place! For fans who are adamant that the original Final Fantasy VII plotline should be the only one, it doesn't matter if Zack's boring meandering and multiversing eventually does turn into something more substantial, because it's completely interfering with how many fans know the story should have played out. What did you think about Zack's or any other character's alternate path within this new iteration of Final Fantasy VII? Are you on board, or have you cut yourself off completely? Please let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe if you like more in-depth RPG and video game content right here at Gaming Introspection. Good to see you, gamers. Take care.